Hey, it's me again, and I want to thank you for purchasing the course. The two body parts that people ask me the most about in terms of muscle development, growth, that sort of thing, are the chest and the bicep muscles. So, we're going to cover those muscle groups first, and then we'll take a break from demonstration videos, and I'll go over some important terms and concepts that I use throughout the course and some important principles that will help you get the most out of your workouts. Remember, it's not always how much you lift, but more often and more important, it's how you lift. And I'm going to thoroughly explain the proper way to lift during the demonstrations and as I go over some important terms and concepts. That way, you'll have all the secrets and tips and tricks that you need to get the most out of your workout and build a lean, muscular physique and get the body that you always wanted. I want you to know that your opinion matters. As my student, your opinion is very important to me. If you like this course, then please take a moment to give it a positive rating and review. I will greatly appreciate this as it will motivate me to make more content and it will help more students find this course. Thank you. In this video, I'm going to go over the exercises that will help you develop good overall chest size. Let's take a quick look at my overall chest size. Now, the chest muscles, also called the pectoral muscles, are divided into three sections. You have the upper chest, the middle chest, and the lower chest. Keep in mind, I've never used steroids or anything like that, but using these exercises, I've been able to develop decent overall chest size. The first exercise is the incline bench press. You can do this with the free barbell weights or the Smith machine. I chose to use the Smith machine for these bench pressing videos because it really helps to isolate the different sections of the chest. For best results, avoid locking your elbows at the top of bench pressing movements. The reason why is because you want to keep constant tension on the chest muscles and you don't want the triceps to come into play too much. This is the incline bench press on the Smith machine. And this is in slow motion initially, but you'll notice that I bring the bar down to the top of my chest and then I press it up. But I do not lock my elbows, and that's on purpose. Again, I do not lock my elbows, and that is on purpose because by not locking my elbows, I keep constant tension on the chest muscles and I don't put the triceps into play too much. I come close to locking my elbows, but I don't lock them completely. This next exercise is the flat bench press, and I'm using the Smith machine again. And this exercise will really put the focus on the middle of the chest, and it does give a good overall chest workout as well. Initially, this is in slow motion, and you'll notice I bring the bar down to my chest, and then I press up, exhaling on the way up. With all bench pressing movements, you want to exhale on the way up. And you notice that I do not lock my elbows, and that's on purpose because I want to keep constant tension on the chest, and I don't want the triceps to come into play too much. This is in regular speed, and we'll take a quick close-up. I bring it down to my chest, and I exhale on the way up. The decline bench press, this will put the focus on the lower chest muscle. So I'm laying on a bench that's declined, and I bring the weight down to the bottom of my chest, and I press the weight up. This is in slow motion initially. Again, exhaling as you press the weight up. Now it's in regular speed, and of course I'm not locking my elbows because I want to keep constant tension on the chest muscles. That's the constant tension principle. In this video, I'm going to go over the exercises that I use to get nice chest broadness. Now, if you take a look at my pictures, you'll notice that my chest is wide, and that's what I'm talking about when I say broadness. I'm talking about chest width. And if you want a nice overall physique, you want to have a nice, broad, wide chest that extends fully from one shoulder to the next shoulder. The first exercise are incline dumbbell flies. When doing these, make sure that you come down slow and controlled. Again, slow and controlled on the way down. And the reasons why you want to do that are, number one, you will get the most out of your workout if you come down slow and controlled. Coming down slow and controlled will help your muscles develop the best way, optimally, quickly, and it creates an efficient and very effective workout. It also will help you prevent injuries like chest muscle tears or shoulder tears. Oftentimes the chest muscle is referred to as the pec because technically it's the pectoral muscle. So to get that pec broadness, we will do some dumbbell bench presses. You will notice I'm coming down slow and controlled. Like I say in a lot of my videos, it's not how much weight you lift, but rather how you lift that weight. So we're not trying to do powerlifting here. We're trying to develop a nice, lean, muscular physique. It's good to exhale on the way up when you're doing any type of bench press movement, and have your shoulder blades planted firmly to the bench and your feet planted firmly to the floor. The next exercise are dips, and I want to talk about the constant tension principle. For best results, be sure to utilize the constant tension principle and do not, I repeat, do not lock your elbows. This will keep constant tension on your chest muscles and cause more muscle growth. Because once you get up to locking your elbows, you're going to put the tension on your triceps. And we want to keep the tension on the chest because that's the muscle group that we're focusing on with these exercises. So here I am doing some dips. You'll notice I'm not dropping too quickly. I'm doing a smooth motion on the way up and on the way down. I'm not going super slow, but at the same time, I'm not going too fast to where I could cause an injury or to where I'm not working the muscle optimally. In this video, I'm going to go over the exercises to help you develop good chest definition and separation. So chest definition and separation, as you can see in my pictures, is being able to see the muscle strands underneath the skin whenever you flex. So when you see those muscle strands, you know that you have good chest definition and good separation in between the muscles. The first exercise, the dumbbell incline bench press, will specifically hit the upper chest muscle, the upper pectoral muscle, chest, pectoral, pec, all the same thing. You'll notice that I utilize a nice controlled movement. I'm not coming down too fast. And also I'm not locking my elbows. I'm utilizing the constant tension principle. I'm purposely not locking my elbows to the top, because if I would, then I would take the tension off the chest. And also, this is not meant for the triceps either, so you want to not lock your elbows. Dumbbell flies on a flat bench. This will give you nice chest definition and separation, and this will help you get that nice separation in between the sides of your chest and your rib cage, also the bottom of your chest and the middle of your chest. I'm going down slow and controlled. Slow and controlled on the way down. If you do that, you're going to get optimum results. You're going to get the most out of your workout. And the principle that we're using is the eccentric movement principle. The eccentric movement principle is when you go down nice, slow, and controlled. Cable flies. These are excellent if you want to see that nice muscle definition and separation in the middle of your pectoral muscles, also on the outside and lower and upper. To be honest with you, this is probably the best exercise in order to get that pectoral muscle definition and separation. Again, slow and controlled on the way back. Doing that's going to get the most out of my workout. I'm going to get better chest definition. And that's the eccentric movement principle. Very important. I mention that a lot in my videos because people don't use it, but they should, because it will help you develop your muscles faster and they will develop better. Let's finish out the set. I want you to know that your opinion matters. As my student, your opinion is very important to me. If you like this course, then please take a moment to give it a positive rating and review. I will greatly appreciate this, as it will motivate me to make more content and it will help more students find this course. Thank you. Congratulations, you just got through some tough chest workouts. You're right on your way to building really nice pecs. Now, pat yourself on the back and go have a cheat meal. Chocolate cake, pizza, some pumpkin pie, whatever you want. But make sure you eat plenty of protein as well. Now, the chest muscles, the pecs, are an important part of the upper torso, but we also want to make sure that we have nicely developed biceps. So let's move on to some demonstration videos of bicep muscle development. The bicep muscle is made up of two sections. You have the inner bicep muscle, which is on the inside of the arm, and you have the outer bicep muscle, which is on the outside of the arm. And together they comprise the total bicep muscle. Generally, wide grip curls work the inner bicep muscle, and close grip curls work the outer bicep muscle. In this video, we're going to look specifically at the exercises that work the inner bicep muscle. But before we look at these exercises, I want to tell you about the eccentric movement principle. My biceps grew a lot from implementing the eccentric movement principle. A 3-2-1 count works well for me during the eccentric movement. During a bicep curl, the eccentric movement is when you're lowering the weight. Going down slow and controlled is vital to do if you want your biceps to grow. The first exercise is the wide grip spider curl, and you'll notice that I go down slow and controlled and I use a 3-2-1 count. This video is not in slow motion. Again, this video is not in slow motion. This is the actual speed that I use when I'm doing all of my curls. So 3, 2, 1, up, nice, slow and controlled. 3, 2, 1, up. Now this is called the spider curl. You'll notice that my shoulder and my elbow are vertical, and the bench that's helping them stay vertical is straight up and down, so it's vertical too. There's not a slope. Now on the preacher curl, which is on the other side of that bench, there is a slight incline. Now the next exercise, it's one of my favorite exercises for the biceps, the wide grip cable curl, wide grip cable curl. And you'll notice I'm using the wide grip, and I'm using the cable that has a pulley system. And still, I'm going down slow and controlled. 3, 2, 1, up. I really like this exercise. I noticed that because I'm standing slightly behind where the pulley is in the cable system, it allows me to get a nice flex of the bicep throughout the whole motion. So even at the top, there's still a lot of tension on that bicep, and that helps it to develop. It also helps with the peak of the bicep, which we'll go over in a different video. 3, 2, 1, up. This is not in slow motion. 3, 2, 1, up. The next exercise, the seated incline dumbbell curl. So I'm sitting down on an incline bench, and again, this is not in slow motion. I always go down slow and controlled. I always go down slow and controlled when I'm doing any of my bicep curls. So this is not in slow motion, and it's important that you use a weight that you can go down slow and controlled with. It's not all about how much weight you lift, but rather how you lift that weight. And if you're doing slow and controlled eccentric movements during bicep curls, you're going to get more growth. I definitely did. 3, 2, 1. The outer bicep muscle is the section of the bicep on the outside of the arm. It's important to specifically work the outer bicep muscle to have overall bicep muscle development. Remember to implement the eccentric movement principle with a 3 to 1 count on the way down. Go slow and controlled on the way down with all bicep curls. Generally, close grip curls work the outer bicep muscle, and in this video we will specifically look at exercises that work the outer bicep muscle. The first exercise is the close grip spider curl. Now this video is not in slow motion. I'm going down slow and controlled, and I'm utilizing a 3 to 1 count on the way down. 3, 2, 1, up. You'll notice that this bench is completely vertical, which allows my shoulder down to my elbow to be vertical, straight up and down. And this is called the spider curl. 3, 2, 1, up. 3, 2, 1, up. The spider hammer dumbbell curl is the next exercise. So I'm on the same bench, going down slow and controlled. Again, this is not in slow motion. This is the actual speed that I use during the curl. 3, 2, 1, up. 3, 2, 1, up. Let's take a close look at that. You'll see the spider curl bench is straight up and down, which allows my arm from my shoulder down to my elbow to be straight up and down, completely vertical. It's a very nice angle to hit the bicep muscle with. Now I'm going to switch over to my left arm, but I'm still going to implement the eccentric movement principle. Eccentric movement principle. The eccentric movement is the movement when you're lowering the weight. So in the bicep curl, it's the movement on the way down. 3, 2, 1, up. 3, 2, 1, up. Doing that 3, 2, 1 count on the way down really helped my biceps grow a lot. It's not all about how much weight you lift, but rather how you lift that weight. Rope cable curls. So I have a rope attachment to the cable pulley system. As usual, going down slow and controlled. And I like this exercise a lot because as I stand behind the pulley system of the cable, you'll notice that I'm able to get a nice pump at the top, and I have a good flex of the bicep throughout the whole motion. I notice that when I do cable curls, as long as I stand slightly behind the pulley system. 3, 2, 1. The biceps peak is the part of the bicep muscle that pops up almost like a semicircle at the top of the bicep when you flex it. You need to do certain exercises a certain way in order to get your biceps to peak. In this video, I'm going to show you the exercises in order to get your biceps to peak and how to perform those exercises. The first exercise is the cable double bicep curl. And you'll notice during this exercise that I'm kneeling on a mat, so the pulleys are well above my head. Doing this allows me to have a nice peak contraction at the end of the movement. And I want to squeeze the bicep muscle at full contraction. Full contraction is at the end of the movement when the muscle is fully flexed. For example, here's a close-up. Squeeze when the muscle's fully flexed. Squeeze when the muscle's fully flexed. You want to do that for every rep when you're doing exercises specifically for the biceps peak. Because remember, the biceps peak occurs when you are fully flexing your muscle. Having the pulleys well above my head allow for constant tension throughout the movement, even at full contraction. The next exercise, the dumbbell spider curl, it's using the spider curl bench, which allows my bicep muscle to be vertical. So from my shoulder down to my elbow is vertical, straight up and down. And as you can see, I'm squeezing at the top of the movement. I'm going to do that squeezing for every rep when I'm trying to work my biceps peak. And keep in mind, I'm not squeezing my fist, I'm squeezing the bicep muscle whenever it is completely flexed. So I'm not squeezing my fist, I'm squeezing the bicep muscle whenever it is completely flexed. So I'm slightly pausing. I'm pausing for a moment when I'm squeezing the bicep muscle. And now for the right hand, squeeze at the top. squeeze at the top. I'm still implementing the eccentric movement principle, and that means I'm doing the 3-2-1 count on the way down, like I do for all of my bicep exercises. So squeeze at the top, 3-2-1, up, squeeze at the top, 3-2-1, up, squeeze at the top. Over and over again for each rep. And we'll take another close-up for the right arm. Squeeze at the top, 3-2-1, up, 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 squeeze at the top. Now, the dumbbell spider hammer curl. We do this in a different video, but I added it to this video as well. But this time I'm going to specifically squeeze the bicep at the top, like I've been doing in all of these exercises, because that's essential. So squeeze at the top, squeeze at the top for all of the reps. Squeezing the bicep when it's at full contraction, when it's fully flexed, is essential to get that bicep to peak. And remember, how much weight you use does not necessarily matter. What matters most is how you lift that weight. So you want to be able to do a nice, smooth, fluid motion, go down slow and controlled, and squeeze at the top. And for the left arm, now the spider curl bench is different from the preacher curl bench. Now, it's actually the same piece of equipment, but the preacher curl is on the other side where my stomach is, and the spider curl side is the side that I'm using, and the spider curl side goes straight up and down. And it provides a very nice angle to work the bicep muscle. We'll be doing preacher curls in a different video. And we'll finish out this set. I want you to know that your opinion matters. As my student, your opinion is very important to me. If you like this course, then please take a moment to give it a positive rating and review. I will greatly appreciate this, as it will motivate me to make more content and it will help more students find this course. Thank you. Let's take a quick look at my overall bicep size. Keep in mind, I've never used steroids or anything like that, and this is just in natural lighting. I have been able to achieve good overall bicep size using certain exercises and lifting a certain way, and I'm going to tell you about those exercises. This video is about exercises for bicep muscle overall size, and the first exercise is the barbell curl. It is an excellent exercise in order to build your bicep muscle, and as I always say, going down slow and controlled is vital to do if you want your biceps to grow. That's utilizing the eccentric movement principle, and we're going to do a 3-2-1 count on the way down. 3, 2, 1, up, 3, 2, 1, up. You'll notice I'm not swinging the weight, I'm not using too much momentum, I'm not using my shoulders to lift the weight, and I'm not using my back to lift the weight. Instead, I'm focusing on using my biceps only, and I'm going down in a slow and controlled manner. And this video is not in slow motion, this is the actual speed that I use. The next exercise, the dumbbell hammer curl. Three, 2, 1, up, and 3, 2, 1, up. With the hammer curl, you hold the dumbbell kind of like you would hold a hammer. So your thumb is up towards the ceiling, as opposed to a regular dumbbell curl, which would be having your palm up towards the ceiling. So with the hammer dumbbell curl, your thumb is up toward the ceiling. Again, I'm not using momentum. I'm not using my shoulders or back. I'm not swaying too much. Instead, I'm lifting the weight in a slow and controlled manner. I'm going down using a 3-2-1 count. 3, 2, 1. And I'm using a smooth movement, really focusing on the bicep muscle. I'm not cheating at all. Remember, it's not always how much weight you can lift, but rather how you lift that weight. Lifting weight a certain way is essential in order to get muscle growth. Here's a quick close-up. I'm getting a nice pump in my bicep. The next exercise is the seated dumbbell curl. Again, the 3-2-1 count on the way down. I like to do one arm at a time instead of alternating. Sometimes I'll alternate, but I'd rather do one arm at a time because you can really focus on that one bicep and you don't give your biceps a rest in between reps. You keep the tension on the bicep muscle throughout the whole set. Let's look at a close-up. I'm just sitting on a bench that it looks to have a little bit of a decline to it, but you can just do this on any type of bench where you're basically sitting normal. There's a different exercise where I have the bench declined more, and that's for a different angle. But for this particular bicep exercise, I just wanted to be sitting normally, so that's how I set the bench, just like I would be sitting in a chair. And that hits the bicep in a certain angle and really makes sure that you don't cheat, because you can't really sway back and forth. It really isolates the bicep muscle and helps you focus on developing the bicep muscle. A quick close-up. Again, I'm lifting in a nice smooth manner and doing the 3-2-1 count on the way down. This is not in slow motion. This is regular speed. 3, 2, 1. A good indication that you're getting a good biceps workout is vascularity. Vascularity is the popping out of the veins in your arm. And this is caused by good blood flow to the bicep muscle. Now, in this video, I'm going to show you the exercises that give you the best bicep pump. And when I talk about pump, I'm just talking about the pump of blood to the muscle. It's important to get a good pump of blood to the muscle because the blood's going to provide the muscle with all the nutrients, water, and oxygen that it needs to develop. The best exercise to get a really good bicep pump are called 21s. To perform 21s, simply do 7 bottom half reps, 7 top half reps, and 7 full reps per set. That may sound complicated, but I'm going to show you exactly what I'm talking about in slow motion. This first exercise are 21s using an outer grip, and this is in slow motion. That's 1 bottom half rep, 2 bottom half reps, 3 bottom half, 4 bottom half, 5 bottom half reps, 6 bottom half reps. On the 7th one, I think I go all the way up. So I did 7 for the bottom. Now top half reps. That's 1 top half rep. So I'm only going halfway down. 2 top half reps. 3 top half reps. 4 top half reps. 5, 6, 7 top half reps. Now I go all the way down and I do 7 full reps. And again, this is in slow motion. So that's 1, 2. You notice I'm not swinging or swaying too much. I'm not using momentum. I'm using my biceps to do the exercise. And with this, since you're doing so many reps, you want to use a weight that is not real heavy. And you want to make sure that you use proper form to really get that good bicep pump. So after I do 7 full reps, that will be the end of the set. Okay? So it's 21 total reps. Now I'm going to show it to you in regular motion. So this is not slow motion. This is just regular speed, the same thing I just did. You notice I'm doing nice smooth movements. I'm not using momentum. I'm not using my shoulders or my back. I'm just using my biceps. I am breathing mainly through my nose, but now they're getting harder, so I'm breathing through my mouth. It's important to breathe. You want to make sure your muscles get the oxygen they need. So now that you know what 21s are, we're going to do 21s with an inner grip. This will change the angle and work the outer bicep muscle. This is just in regular speed. I'm not doing any of these in slow motion. But you notice with the inner grip, it changes the angle that the bicep is being worked at. So this means that you're changing the focus onto the outer bicep muscle. When I had the outer grip, the focus would be on the inner bicep muscle. So we're going to get a really good pump, really good blood flow to the entire bicep muscle by the end of this workout. The next exercise, still 21s, but now with dumbbells. Now you can do this seated or standing. I chose to do it seated because that prevents me from swaying. It prevents me from leaning back too much and really isolates the biceps and focuses the workout on the biceps. Now, these are still 21s, so it's the same exact concept where you're doing 7 bottom half reps, then 7 top half reps, and then 7 full reps for a total of 21. And they will start to get very difficult towards the end. That's why you want to use a weight that you're comfortable with, that you won't want to cheat with. Whatever you do a regular curl with, you're going to have to lighten it up when you do 21s, but you'll get an excellent workout and it will really help build your bicep muscles. Wow, your biceps are probably feeling it right now, right? I know that mine were after doing those bicep workouts. Your biceps are probably starting to pop out, the veins are probably starting to pop out, and you're probably starting to feel pretty strong in your arms now, right? I know that I was, and you probably are too. You probably noticed in the biceps video I talk about the eccentric movement principle, and in the chest videos I talked about the constant tension principle. Well, Let's go into those principles and some other terms and concepts in more detail since I'll be talking about that stuff throughout this course. So now we're going to take a break from the demonstration videos and go over some terms and concepts that are important for you to know so you get the most out of your workouts. If you're getting the most out of your workouts, then you're going to get the physique that you want faster and easier. Before we move on to any more of the demonstration videos, I want to go over some important terms and concepts. I'm going to list these out initially and then I'll talk about them in more detail. So I'm going to go over sets and reps, what they are, resistance training versus cardio training, hill sprints, the constant tension principle, primary versus secondary muscles, the mind to muscle connection, the importance of keeping your back straight, and the importance of stretching and warming up. So what are sets and reps? If you're new to exercise, you might not know. The performance of an exercise is divided into sets. Sets are groups of reps, and reps are the number of repetitions performed for a particular movement. Resistance training versus cardio training. Resistance training consists of exercises that involve lifting a certain amount of weight. This weight could be your own body weight, like during a pull-up, or the weight could be from a dumbbell, barbell, machine, etc. Cardio training involves aerobic exercises like jogging, swimming, biking, or high-intensity interval training, HIIT training. And those exercises would be like sprints. High-intensity interval training is the best type of cardio to do if you want to burn fat but preserve and or gain muscle. A good fitness plan always involves both resistance and cardio training. If you want to preserve and or gain muscle but burn fat, you want to avoid long aerobic exercises. You don't want to be running or biking or swimming mile after mile after mile for hours. That's why I emphasize high intensity interval training and specifically hill sprints. And I'll get into more detail about that in a moment. But if you're going to have a good overall fitness plan, always do both resistance and some sort of cardio training, preferably a high-intensity interval training. Hill sprints. Hill sprints are a form of high-intensity interval training. Hill sprints are my personal go-to cardio exercise because they are great at burning fat, yet preserving muscle. I sprint on the way up and walk on the way down. I normally sprint on a grassy hill that is at an approximate 30-degree incline. That's approximately what 30 degrees would look like, a 30-degree incline. I personally choose a grassy hill because it's easier on the feet and joints than a concrete or asphalt hill. The hill that I use is approximately 50 yards long. I perform at least 10 sprints per workout, but often my workout will consist of 20 to 25 sprints. If you cannot find a hill to sprint up, then do flat sprints. Those would be your best alternative. The constant tension principle. The constant tension principle is used in order to keep constant tension and resistance on the muscle. It prevents unnecessary rest when performing repetitions of a particular exercise. And it promotes optimum muscle strengthening, building, sculpting, and conditioning. Whenever I show you the exercises, when I perform them on the videos coming up, I will mention the constant tension principle, and I will show you how I use it in practice. Eccentric movement principle. The eccentric movement of an exercise is the movement when the muscle lengthens while under resistance. When lifting weights, the eccentric movement or eccentric contraction occurs when the muscle lowers the weight. For example, during a bicep curl, if you're curling a dumbbell for your biceps, when you lower the weight, that is the eccentric movement or the eccentric contraction. The eccentric movement principle emphasizes the need to force the muscle to lower the weight in a slow and controlled manner. For the eccentric movement principle, I'll be mentioning that a lot in the videos coming up. So now you have a general understanding of it, and you will see it in practice when I show you the actual exercises, when I use it, how I use it. But at least now you have a good basic understanding. Primary versus secondary muscles. The primary muscle is the muscle that a specific exercise is intended to strengthen, build, sculpt, and condition. The primary muscle should do most of the work during the exercise. Secondary muscles are the muscles that are worked during an exercise but are not the primary focus of the exercise. Secondary muscles should do less work than the primary muscles. For example, during the bench press, the primary muscles are the chest muscles. The secondary muscles are the shoulders and triceps. Also, during the pull-up, the primary muscles are the back muscles, and the secondary muscles are the biceps. Mind to muscle connection. To make a mind to muscle connection, you need to keep your mental focus and thinking on the primary muscle that you're exercising. Making a mind to muscle connection ensures that the primary muscle is properly worked. It helps to prevent secondary muscles from doing too much of the work during the exercise. It also helps to prevent cheating during exercise movements. Muscle pump. I often refer to a muscle pump when I'm explaining weightlifting exercises. A muscle pump refers to the rush of blood that your body pumps to the muscle that's being exercised. This rush of blood causes the muscle to get temporarily larger and possibly more vascular or veiny. This muscle pump lets you know that you are giving your muscle a good workout and that you are stimulating good muscle growth. And you'll feel the muscle pump. You'll see it and you'll feel it. Keeping your back straight, very important. Keeping your back straight is very important when lifting weights. It keeps your spine straight and aligned. Keeping your back straight is necessary in order to prevent injury. To prevent injury, you should never arch or bend your back during resistance exercises. You will bend over at the hip or at the waist, but you do not bend or arch your back ever. In some of the videos, you'll notice that I'm wearing a weightlifting belt around my waist. Doing so will add support to your lower back in order to prevent injury. This is especially helpful when lifting heavy weights. Stretching and warming up, very important. Stretching and warming up are very important because they help avoid injury and they promote muscle growth. Stretching and warming up help to increase blood flow to the muscles, providing them with much needed nutrients, water, and oxygen. I always stretch the body part that I plan to exercise before doing anything else. When stretching, I hold the stretch for at least 20 seconds. I always warm up before performing an exercise. If I'm lifting weights, then I warm up before each exercise by performing one extremely light set of 10 reps of that exercise. If I'm doing cardio, then I warm up by walking for at least 2 minutes. Wrist straps. In some of the videos, you will notice that I have weightlifting wrist straps around my wrists. The purpose of the wrist straps is to assist with your grip when holding the weight during an exercise. This can be helpful so you can focus on performing the exercise properly while not worrying about losing your grip. The majority of the strap is wrapped around the bar, underneath your palm. The other part of the strap is around your wrist. Wrist straps are especially helpful if you're lifting heavy weights. Congratulations, you now have a thorough knowledge of the important terms and concepts and principles that will help you get the physique that you want as fast as possible and as easy as possible. Now you know some of the tricks and secrets of how to lift properly, because like I said, it's not always how much you lift, but more importantly, it's how you lift. And you want to lift effectively and efficiently and properly in order to get the most out of your workout and get the physique that you want as fast as possible and as easy as possible. So now that you have all of that knowledge, it's time to move on to some more demonstration videos. So let's do back. Why not? Most people want a nice thick V taper back, so I'm going to show you some exercises that will hit all of the back muscles and get you the well-developed back that you want. Let's take a quick look at the width of my back muscles. You'll notice that a wide back will have a nice V shape to it. And the V shape is caused by developed lat muscles. The lat muscles run along the left and right sides of the back, and the exercises that I'm about to show you will help you develop nice lat muscles so you have nice width of your back. The first exercise are pull-ups. If you can't do a pull-up, don't worry about it. Pull-ups are the best exercises for back width, but I'm going to show you some other exercises that you can do if you're unable to do pull-ups. And eventually, if you do the other exercises, you will eventually have the strength to do pull-ups. For best results, imagine your biceps don't exist and just use your lat muscles. I'm going to do 15 pull-ups, and when I do these, I want you to notice that I do come all the way down. I get a nice stretch in the lats on the way down, and I do go all the way up to fully work the lat muscles. You'll also notice I don't sway and I don't use momentum. I'm not kicking my legs or knees up. I'm making my back muscles, specifically my lats, do all the work. And I try to focus on my lats and not on my biceps because I don't want my biceps to do all the work. The next exercise, lat pull downs with an inward grip. You'll notice my palms are facing inward and the handlebar has a nice wide grip to it. I make the mind to muscle connection by focusing on my lat muscles. And this is in slow motion. And you'll notice I bring the handlebar down to my chest and I lean back just slightly. I also don't let the weights touch until the end of the set. That keeps constant tension on the lat muscles to help them develop more. The next exercise are lat pull downs with a regular grip, and this is similar to doing a pull up. So if you can't do a pull up, you'll be able to do these because you can adjust the weight. And the stronger you get at doing these, the closer you'll get to being able to do a pull up. Now, obviously, initially this is in slow motion, but you'll notice that I don't let the weights touch in between reps. That keeps constant tension on the muscle and helps the lats develop more and helps my back get wider. And I bring the weight down to the top of my chest and I lean back just slightly. I'm not using any momentum. I'm not yanking the weight. I'm doing a nice smooth motion, and that will help avoid injury and keep the focus on the lat muscles, not the biceps. And focusing on the lat muscles again is the mind to muscle connection. Very important. You want to use that all the time when you're lifting weights, especially when you're lifting for your back, because your biceps will want to do too much of the work. And that's why you have to focus on those lat muscles. Let's take a quick look at my back thickness. This is the side of my lat muscle. The lat muscle is one of the many muscles that comprise the back. There's about 10 or so, and the exercises that I'm about to show you will help build the thickness in all of those muscles so you have a nice thick back overall. And keep in mind, I'm completely natural, no steroids, no hormones, nothing like that. And if you use these exercises, you too can have nice back thickness, which is important for a nice overall physique. So I'm about to go over the exercises for thickness of the back muscles. And the first exercise is the barbell bent over row with your palms up. Now it's very important that you keep your back straight. Do not bend or arch your back. You'll notice that I bend at the hip, but I keep my back and spine straight the whole time. This is in slow motion initially, so you can see that I do not use too much momentum. I do not try to sway the weight up, and I try to avoid using my biceps. I try to really focus on my back muscles. Now it's in regular motion. The next exercise is the dumbbell bent over row. Whenever doing rowing movements for my back, whether it's the barbell or the dumbbell, I try to make that mind to muscle connection. So I imagine that my biceps don't exist, thus focusing on just using my back muscles. Very important because your biceps will want to help. And if you make that mind to muscle connection by focusing on the back muscles, then you'll really get a great back workout. Now I'm going to do the same exercise on the other side. And with all exercises, keep your back straight. Do not bend or arch your back. I'm wearing a belt just to have some extra safety so I don't injure my lower back. And with these type of exercises, you have to be very conscious of the fact that you want to keep your back straight and just bend at the hip. I'm leaning on an incline bench in order to help me stay balanced, and that's important too. Now the Smith machine bent over row with palms down. I like using the Smith machine with rowing movements because it helps prevent injury and helps me keep in the range of motion that I want to be in, which in turn helps keep the focus on my back muscles instead of my biceps. That's in slow motion initially, and now regular motion. I want you to know that your opinion matters. As my student, your opinion is very important to me. If you like this course, then please take a moment to give it a positive rating and review. I will greatly appreciate this as it will motivate me to make more content and it will help more students find this course. Thank you. Let's take a quick look at my back definition. Now keep in mind I don't use steroids and this is in normal light, but I do think I have been able to get nice back definition, nice back muscle separation. Definition and separation are basically the same things. It's just being able to see space in between the muscles, seeing the different muscles of that particular body part, which would be the back in this case. Now let's take a look at the exercises that are specifically for definition and separation of the back muscles. The first one I like to use is cable pull downs with a close grip. And when doing this, you need to imagine that you don't even have biceps. You want to really focus on using the back muscles. And that's called making the mind to muscle connection, focusing on working the muscle that you want to do most of the work. Some biceps will come into play. They will be worked a little bit, but you really want to focus on working the back when you're doing back exercises. So I bring the handle down to my chest and I lean back slightly. You want to avoid yanking, you want to avoid swinging and cheating, and you don't want to injure yourself. So use smooth movements. Here it is in regular speed, and again leaning back a little bit and bringing the handles to my chest. And I normally don't let the weights touch until the very end. That keeps constant tension on the muscle. Now cable rows with a close grip. Again, focusing on just my back muscles. In slow motion, you can see that I keep my back straight throughout the movement. I only bend at the hip. That prevents injury, and that's important. Making the mind to muscle connection, I'm focusing just on my back muscles, and I'm bringing the handles to my belly button, and I'm not letting the weights touch until the very end. So as I'm doing the reps, at the end of the rep, that weight is coming close but not touching, and that keeps constant tension on the muscles. So they're worked throughout the set. And I lean back a little bit right there and bring the handles to my belly button. So lean back a little bit, bring the handles to the belly button. And this is in slow motion. I'm about to show you it in regular motion. But you'll notice that I do not arch my back. I keep it straight and I bend at the hip to prevent injury. And I do not yank the weight. And I try to avoid cheating. And I do nice, smooth movements. And always remember to breathe. Exhale. Breathe and exhale. Very important. The next exercise, cable rows using a wide grip with palms in. You'll see what I'm talking about. So we have a wide gripped bar with the palms in. I really, really like this exercise. Same idea. You're keeping the back straight, only bending at the hip, and you're not letting the weight touch until the very end of the set. Keeping constant tension on the muscle and making that mind to muscle connection. Trying to avoid using the biceps as much as possible, focusing on the back muscles. Now in regular motion, you come forward and you go back, kind of like you're rowing a boat. Lean back a little bit and bring the bar to your belly button. This is one of my favorite back exercises. The trapezius muscles, also referred to as the traps, extend across the top of the back and down into the middle of the back, forming a T shape. Having nicely developed traps are important because they do take up a good portion of your back. And if you want to have a nice overall back development, then you're going to need nice overall trap development. The traps can also be seen from the front, above the collarbones, besides and above the shoulders and next to the neck. In this video, I'm going to show you the different exercises that will help you develop your trapezius muscles. The first exercise are barbell shrugs, and I'm going to use the Smith machine, but you can use free weight barbell if you want to. So I go just straight up and down, flexing my traps. I try to touch my ears with my shoulders, basically. And using the Smith machine allows me to focus on the traps rather than trying to focus on balancing the weight as well. The next exercise, dumbbell shrugs. Same type of concept. I'm going straight up and down with my traps, trying to touch my ears with my shoulders. And this will provide a different type of feel because my palms are facing each other, whereas in the previous exercise they were facing behind me. Plus I'm using free weight dumbbells, so that provides a different feel as well. The next exercise, upright rows. I'll be holding a barbell with my hands about shoulder width apart. And this is in slow motion initially. So I bring the barbell from the top of my quads up to my chin, and I bend my elbows while I do this, so my elbows point out to the sides. You want to remember not to sway too much. You don't want to use momentum. You want to use your traps. Let's take a look at this in regular speed. Nice. Now you're on your way to building a thick, wide, V-tapered back that's going to block the sunlight and put your friends in the shade. Congratulations. Pat yourself on the back for making it this far in the course. And remember, you want to occasionally have cheat meals in order to keep your metabolism going. So go have a cheat meal. French fries, bacon, cheese, ketchup, all mixed together, some cupcakes, candy bars, whatever you want. Just make sure that you have plenty of protein as well, and don't eat the cheat meals every day, just occasionally, and preferably after having an intense workout. After you have an intense workout where you're working multiple muscles hard, then your body is really going to use those calories from the cheat meals in a good way. They're going to turn those calories into muscle as the muscles recover from the workout. So having your cheat meals after having an intense workout is the optimal time to have the cheat meals. And remember to have the cheat meals occasionally and not every day. It's great to treat yourself to cheat meals. You don't want to cheat yourself. You want to treat yourself to cheat meals. It's great to treat yourself to cheat meals because it's going to keep your metabolism going at a fast rate, and it will help you stay on your healthy eating plan or diet. Okay, so let's move on to triceps. and get those arms fully developed. We already did the biceps, so let's move on to triceps. In this video, I'm going to go over the exercises that will help you develop overall tricep size. The tricep is comprised of 3 sections, and if you want good overall tricep size, you have to make sure that you do exercises that will thoroughly hit all 3 sections and really help stimulate growth for that tricep muscle. The first exercise is the close grip bench press, and you can do this with a free weight barbell or the Smith machine. I'm doing it with the Smith machine to really keep the focus on my triceps. This is initially in slow motion. You'll notice that the grip is a closer grip, a more narrow grip than a regular bench press. So my hands are closer together. That's what I mean when I say close grip. They're a little bit inside shoulder length apart, and I simply press the weight up, really focusing on my triceps. Here it is in regular speed, and I'm making that mind and muscle connection, making the triceps do all the work. And a quick close-up. The chest will get worked somewhat too, but with that closer grip, the focus will be on the triceps. The next exercise, skull crushers. I'll be using the curved bar for this exercise, and you want to make sure that your arms are not straight up and down. You want to put them at a slight angle like I did. Then you bring the curved bar down to right behind your head, and you lift up using your triceps. This is in slow motion initially, but you'll notice that my arms are not straight up and down at the top of the movement. They're at a slight angle. And that's important to keep the constant tension on the tricep muscles. So you can bring it to full extension. You can lock your elbows, but you'll still have constant tension on the triceps because they're at that slight angle. They're not straight up and down. So let's take a look at this in regular speed, but from a different angle. So you can see how far down I bring the bar. Just to the top of my head. Almost to the bench level. Come down nice and controlled. I do a smooth movement and really focus on working those triceps and getting them to grow. The next exercise, cable bar extensions. So I'm using the cable pulley system. This is initially in slow motion, and a few things to keep in mind. You want to make sure that your elbows stay tucked at your sides. You don't want them to be winging out or coming forward too much. You want to keep them as still as possible. I'm talking about your elbows. So you'll bring the weight up to about chest level and then extend your triceps down. You don't want to sway or lean too much. You want to make your triceps do all the work. Here it is in regular speed. If you sway too much or lean forward too much, you'll be cheating and you'll be using momentum. So you don't want to sway too much. You don't want to move forward too much. You really want to focus on those triceps doing all the work. Get the most out of your workout. Make that mind to muscle connection. In this video, I'm going to show you the exercises that will help you get good muscle definition and separation for the triceps. Here's a quick look at my triceps. The tricep is in the back of the arm, in between the shoulder and the elbow. The first exercise, overhead dumbbell extensions. So you'll notice I am extending my tricep, and while doing so, I am lifting a dumbbell behind my head. And because my arm is almost straight up and down at the top of the movement, I don't want to hold the weight at the top with my elbow locked. I don't want to hold it there for a long time because that'll take tension off the tricep. Because if my elbow is locked and it's straight up and down, then my elbow is going to be holding the weight instead of my tricep. So I come close to locking it. I usually won't lock it, and sometimes I will extend it to a full lock, but I will just hold it there for a moment, a very, very quick moment. I come down nice and controlled. The next exercise, dumbbell skull crushers. It's very important to note that I do not leave my arm straight up and down during the movement. Now this is in slow motion, and you'll see I bring my arm slightly back. So now it's not straight up and down, it's at that angle. Doing that is very important because now you'll be able to keep constant tension on your tricep muscle even when your arm is fully extended. So you'll able to get full extension of the tricep muscle to the point where you're locking your elbow, but when your elbow is locked, your tricep is still holding the weight. It's still in constant tension because you're not straight up and down. So that's why it's very important that you bring your arm back a little bit to that nice angle. And like I said, this is in slow motion, and I'm about to show you what it looks like in regular speed. And you'll notice in regular speed that I bring the weight down nice and controlled. I don't just drop it down. So my eccentric movement, the movement where I'm lowering the weight, is nice and controlled. And that will ensure that you get a very good tricep workout. And it'll help bring out that nice tricep definition. So now I'm just switching over to the other side. See, I bring the arm back a little bit, and now I bring it down. Nice, slow, and controlled on the way down. And this is still in regular speed, not slow motion. My palm is facing towards the ceiling. Cable single grip extensions with the palm down. So you'll notice my palm is down, facing towards the floor. And initially this is in slow motion. So I'm using just one arm at a time. And I'm using the cable pulley system. It's important to keep your elbow at your side. You don't want your elbow to come forward too much. You don't want your elbow to wing out too far to the side. You want to keep it tucked close to your hip, close to the side of your stomach, basically where your oblique muscles are. Here it is in regular speed, nice, slow, and controlled during the eccentric movement. And then I extend down to work that tricep muscle. Here's a quick close-up of the tricep being worked. And then on the other side, same exercise. Now I'm just working my right tricep. And you can still see that my right elbow is right next to my right obliques, right next to my right hip. the right side of my stomach. It's not winging out too far. It's not in front of me too far. And that's important because you don't want to cheat. And you'll notice I'm not using momentum. I'm using the tricep to lift the weight. You'll notice that the tricep muscle has a horseshoe or a U type shape to it. And the tricep is comprised of 3 different heads, and when you flex them together, they'll create that horseshoe or U type shape. And the exercises in this video will specifically target the sections of the tricep where the grooves form for that horseshoe shape. The first exercise, standing skull crushers. As you'll notice, I'm using the curved bar that is common in many gyms. And I'm bringing the weight down behind my head to about the top of my ears. Now this is not in slow motion. I'm doing about a 3 count on the way down. So I'm coming down nice, slow, and controlled. 3, 2, 1, up. 3, 2, 1, up. This is a great exercise to work the triceps and bring out that horseshoe shape. The next exercise, cable single grip with the palm up. Now this is in slow motion initially, but it's important to notice that my palm is up facing toward the ceiling instead of down. So you can do it with your palm down, but to get that horseshoe shape to really pop out, I feel that doing it with the palm up works better. If I want to get a different feel, then I'll do it with the palm down sometimes. The palm down really helps with muscle definition and separation, whereas the palm up helps with the horseshoe shape. And you'll notice I'm keeping my elbow at my side. I'm not winging it out or bringing it forward too much. And I'm not using momentum. I'm using the tricep to lift the weight. Now let's take a look at it in regular speed. Nice and controlled during the eccentric movement. And I'm not using momentum, I'm using the tricep. So I'm getting the most out of my workout. The next exercise are kickbacks, tricep kickbacks. This is in slow motion initially. And a few important things to think about and to remember when you do this exercise. So the tricep should be parallel with the floor. So from the shoulder to the elbow, the top of your arm where your tricep is, that should be parallel with the floor, like mine is. And then you don't want to be swinging the weight. You want to have the weight nice and controlled the whole time and extend up until your elbow locks. You want to keep your elbow steady. You don't want to be swinging it or winging it out. You don't want to use momentum. So let's take a look at this in regular speed. And if you do these properly, you'll really feel a nice burn and you'll get that horseshoe shape to pop out for your triceps. Now that you have 2 horseshoes in the back of your arms, you're bound to get lucky. You know what I mean? Because horseshoes are supposed to be lucky, and now you have 2 horseshoes, so now you're going to get lucky. What does that mean? Maybe you should play the lottery. Maybe you should ask that girl out that you've been wanting to ask out. I don't know, but the horseshoes in the back of your arms might help. They're going to help because they look good. You have well-developed triceps, well-developed biceps, a nice back, nice chest, but we have to tie all of them together with well-developed shoulders. So let's do that. I want you to know that your opinion matters. As my student, your opinion is very important to me. If you like this course, then please take a moment to give it a positive rating and review. I will greatly appreciate this as it will motivate me to make more content and it will help more students find this course. Thank you. In this video, I'm going to go over some really good exercises to help you build overall shoulder size. The shoulder is divided into three sections. You have the front delt, which is the front of the shoulder muscle, and it's right next to the upper chest. You have the side delt, which is the side of the shoulder muscle. This is a close-up to my front and side delt of my left shoulder. The back double bicep pose is what I'm doing here, and this will show you all three sections of the shoulder muscle, especially the rear delt, the back of the shoulder, and the side delt. As we zoom in close to my right shoulder, you can see separation between all three sections of my right shoulder. The first exercise is called the barbell shoulder press, and I'm showing you this on the Smith machine, but you can also do it with free weights if you want to. I feel that the Smith machine helps me keep in the proper range of motion, helps prevent injury, and really puts focus on the shoulders well. This is in slow motion, and as you can see, I bring the bar down to the top of my shoulders, and at the top of the motion, I purposely do not lock my elbows because I want to keep constant tension on my shoulders. If I locked my elbows, then my shoulders would be given a rest in between reps, and I don't want that to happen, so I purposely do not lock my elbows. That's utilizing the constant tension principle. And here it is in regular speed. I don't just drop the weight down, but I don't go super slow either. I bring it down in a nice controlled manner. This next exercise is specifically for the front delt, and it's called front raises using a bar. And you've probably seen one of those slightly curved bars at the gym. They weigh about 20 to 25 pounds without any weight on them. I like to use that bar and then add some weight to it. This is in slow motion initially, and you'll notice that my palms face down towards the floor, and I do not use momentum. You don't see my upper body swaying a lot. Now let's look at it in regular speed. So I don't use momentum, I use my front delt to lift the weight. The next exercise is called the rear delt row. It is one of my favorite exercises because it really puts a nice focus on that rear delt, which is sometimes difficult to get to grow. But it's very important that you keep your palm facing forward, not toward your body. Focus on making your rear delt lift the weight instead of your back. So you don't want to use your lats. This looks kind of like the dumbbell row, which I will show you for the lats, which is one of the back muscles. But the big difference is the palms are facing forward in this exercise. And by doing that, you change the angle and you change which muscle you're using. So instead of using the lats or the back muscles, you're going to use your rear delt, the back of the shoulder. And you notice I'm leaning on a bench with my right hand, and I keep my back straight. I'm leaning forward a little bit, bent at the hip. So again, the palm is facing forward, not towards my body. And this is in regular speed now. Let's take a look at doing it on the other side with my right rear delt. You notice I'm not using momentum to get the weight up. I'm really focusing on my rear delt. I'm making that mind to muscle connection. thinking about my rear delt while I'm doing the exercise so it does all the work and not any other muscles. It's a great exercise. In this video, I'm going to show you the exercises that will help you develop your front delt, or the front of your shoulder muscle. As you can see, the front delt is right next to the upper chest muscle, and you can see the grooves where they separate. If you want to have nice, fully developed shoulders, then you need to focus some exercises specifically on the front delt. When doing these exercises, for a better pump and more muscle growth, perform these exercises one arm at a time. If you alternate, what you're going to do is you're going to give one front delt, for instance, the one on your left arm, a rest while you're lifting up the weight on the other arm. So I like to perform one arm at a time. That way I get the most out of my workout. The first exercise is the dumbbell front raise with the thumb up. Obviously, when I say thumb up, I don't mean that your thumb is pointed up. I just mean that your thumb is at the top of your grip. You'll see in the video here. This is initially in slow motion, and I have a little note that's very important. Use your muscle, not momentum. Don't swing the weight up, lift the weight up. You'll notice that my thumb is at the top of my grip, similar to the grip that I use during a hammer curl, but instead of using my bicep to lift the weight, I'm using my front delt, the front of my shoulder muscle. And now we'll take a look at this in regular speed coming up. This is still in slow motion. Now in regular speed, I'm going to switch over to my left side. As you can see, I'm doing one arm at a time. Okay, so we're in regular speed, so this is not slow motion. And you notice that on the way down, I'm not just dropping it. I'm bringing it down smoothly. I'm not going super slow, but I am bringing it down in a controlled manner. And there's just very slight movement in my upper body when I'm lifting it up. I do not use too much momentum. The second exercise, the dumbbell front raise with the palm down. Okay? So same type of exercise, but now we're going to have the palm down. The palm will face the floor when we're doing this. So we're going to avoid using momentum. Obviously, the upper body is going to move a little bit, but that's fine. You just don't want to swing the weight. You want to make the muscle lift the weight. And this is in slow motion. So my palm is facing the floor. And now we're in regular speed. And the main difference between this exercise and the one before, when I had the thumb at the top of the grip, is this one will focus on the front delt that's closer to the side delt, whereas the first exercise focused on the front delt, the section which is closer to the chest. So changing your grip changes the angle that the muscle uses to lift the weight. This is in regular speed for my left arm, still with the palm facing the floor. And as you can see, very little movement in my upper body, so I'm not swinging the weight, and I'm bringing it down in a nice controlled manner, but not real slow. The cable front raise, so now we're going to do, with our palm still facing the floor, the same type of movement, but we're going to use the cable. And I'm standing slightly in front of the pulley system, which is part of the cable system. That way, it gives a slightly different angle than when we use the dumbbell, and the resistance stays the same throughout the movement, regardless of gravity, because the weight is being pulled from behind us in the pulley system. And you'll get a really nice burn, a unique burn in your muscle when you do it like this on the cable. And it's a good burn. If your muscle's burning, then you know it's being worked. And you'll know the difference between a burn and an injury. A burn is going to feel kind of good, whereas an injury is going to be like, oh, I need to stop. And you don't want to lift to the point of where you're having an injury, obviously, but you do want to get a nice burn so you know that you're working that muscle well. And as you can see, I'm not swinging the weight up. I'm not using momentum. I'm using my front delt to lift the weight. And I'm coming down, not real slow, but still in a controlled manner. Developing the side delt, the side of the shoulder muscle, is very important if you want to have nice overall shoulder size. And also, it will provide a look of thickness for your entire shoulder, because it takes up that middle section. And it's really important if you want to have a nice, wide, broad look to your upper body. In this video, I'm going to go over the exercises for the side delt, which is the side of the shoulder. The first exercise are dumbbell shoulder presses. I prefer to not lock my elbows. So do not lock your elbows at the top of the movement. This will keep constant tension on the shoulders, thus stimulate growth. If you lock your elbows, you're going to bring your triceps into play at the top of the movement, and you're going to give your shoulders a rest while the elbows are locked. So you will notice that I do not lock my elbows at the top of the movement, and I come down slow and controlled. That's the eccentric movement principle. And this will provide a really nice pump for that side delt and for the shoulder overall. The next exercise, dumbbell side raises. This is in slow motion initially. So I have a dumbbell with my palm facing towards me, and I make that mind to muscle connection to really focus on the side delt lifting the weight. I do not sway. I do not rock too much. I don't use momentum to lift it. I use the side delt. Here it is in regular speed. And just having my hand on that bench there helps me keep my balance and helps me to prevent from leaning forward too much and cheating too much by swaying. This is still in regular speed, but now I'm working my left side delt. So I lean forward very slightly, and I always keep my back straight. Let's finish out the set. Let's take a look at cable side raises. So similar concept, but now we're going to use the cable pulley system. And this is in slow motion initially. So as you can see, the pulley is coming from floor level, and it's about 3 feet to my left in the video. And I'm using my right side delt to lift the weight, making that mind to muscle connection, focusing on the side delt. I'm not using momentum. I'm not leaning forward too much and yanking the weight up. And I'm coming down in a nice controlled manner. Let's look at it in regular speed. So my palm is facing towards the cable system. And using the cable system instead of the dumbbells provides a unique angle, because instead of the up and down gravity resistance using the dumbbell, you have the resistance coming at a different angle, at a diagonal, going from left to right while I work my left side delt and going up and down. So you can look at that diagonal angle of the cable at the top of the movement. a unique angle, a unique feel for the side delt development. In this video, I'm going to go over the exercises that will help you develop the rear delt, which is the back of the shoulder. In order to develop the back of your shoulder, you're going to want to do a variety of rear delt flies. And the first exercise is a rear delt fly with dumbbells and with me standing. You'll notice that my palms are facing each other. They're facing inward. I have my elbows slightly bent and I'm leaning forward a little bit, bent over at the hip, but I have my back straight and I'm using the rear delt to lift the weight. I'm not swaying too much, I'm not cheating. And this is in slow motion initially. You really want to make that mind to muscle connection. You want to think about the rear delt lifting the weight instead of your traps, your lats, or any other back muscle. Here it is in regular speed, focusing on the rear delt muscle lifting the weight, making that mind to muscle connection. The next rear delt fly that I'll be showing is the incline bench rear delt fly. I really like this exercise. It will give you a unique feel whenever you're doing it. And you'll notice I'm chest first on the bench, which is inclined, and I have my palms towards myself. So when I'm doing this movement, I'm trying to get my pinkies to go towards the ceiling, and this is in slow motion initially. The incline bench really helps you to not sway, so it prevents you from cheating. And making that mind to muscle connection, focusing on the rear delts when you're doing the exercise. Here it is in regular speed, coming down in a controlled manner, but not real slow. When performing cable rear delt flies, you will be using the cable pulley system, and during this exercise, in this video, the pulley is at floor level, and while I'm working my right rear delt, the pulley will be about 2 feet to my left, again at floor level. This is in slow motion initially, and using this cable pulley system will provide a unique angle. You'll see the cable is at a diagonal, so you'll get resistance throughout that entire motion. And let's look at it in regular speed. My palm is facing towards my left, where the cable pulley system is. Now I'm about to switch arms and work my left rear delt. You really want to use that mind to muscle connection. Focus on the rear delt doing the lift. Now, obviously the pulley is still at ground level, and I'm getting that nice diagonal movement with resistance throughout that diagonal, as opposed to when I'm using the dumbbell when it's just straight up and down gravity. So the cable pulley system provides that unique angle and that unique exercise. I want you to know that your opinion matters. As my student, your opinion is very important to me. If you like this course, then please take a moment to give it a positive rating and review. I will greatly appreciate this, as it will motivate me to make more content and it will help more students find this course. Thank you. All right, awesome. Now you're building some bolder shoulders. So now the upper body is complete, right? Not quite. We still have to work those abs. Everybody wants abs. Now, in this next section, I will show you some great abdominal and oblique exercises that you can do right at home. So you don't have to wait in line at the gym to use some clunky ab machine that might not even get the job done. Do these exercises, and these will effectively work your abdominal and oblique muscles. So let's work those abs and obliques and tighten that waistline. Here's a quick look at my abdominal muscles. I do have a six-pack. And in this section, I'm going to show you the exercises that I use to work my abdominal muscles. And the first exercise I call the total abdominal crunch. This will work your entire abdominal section, upper abs and lower abs. So first I put my hands on my shoulders and I point my elbows toward the ceiling and I lift my legs off the ground. And what I'm doing is I'm bringing my elbows to my knees. Now this is in slow motion, and it's important to note that I do not let my shoulder blades or my feet touch the ground throughout the exercise. That keeps constant tension on the abs and really gives you a great total abdominal workout. Here it is in slow motion again. Hands on the shoulders, elbows towards the ceiling initially, and then I bring my elbows to my knees, keeping my feet, legs, and back, or top of my back, the shoulder blades, off the ground the entire time. It's a great total abdominal workout. And here it is in regular time. I'll usually start out with 10 reps to warm up, and I'll do 3 to 5 sets of 20 to 40 reps. It's a great ab workout. This second exercise I call the upper ab crunch, and this is mainly just working the upper abdominal muscles. I'm sorry that some of the video quality is not as clear as it should be. Again, hands on the shoulders, elbows pointed toward the ceiling. But my legs are staying bent and my feet are staying planted on the ground. So I'm not really using my lower abs much at all in this exercise. This exercise focuses completely on the upper abdominal muscles. And this upper ab crunch is pretty self-explanatory. I'm just crunching upwards, trying to get my elbows towards the ceiling, and I'm exhaling on the way up and really tightening those upper ab muscles. Now these are easier than the first exercise because you're only working the upper abs. So you can probably do more reps of this exercise. I would do at least 10, but more like 20 to 40, maybe even 50. The third exercise, the lower ab leg lift. Now this focuses completely on the lower abdominal muscles. I keep my back on the floor and I only move my legs off the floor. And on the way down, I do not let my legs touch the ground. It's hard to see from this angle, but I'm not letting my legs touch the ground. That way I'm keeping constant tension on those lower abs. It's a great workout for the lower abs. Great way to tighten up the waistline. And here it is in regular motion. My hands are simply behind my glutes, basically helping me keep my balance as I do the exercise. Now the oblique crunches. The obliques are the muscles that are by the rib cage, surrounding the rib cage, and basically the love handles as well. Okay, so initially I'm going to point my left leg towards my right side, and I'm just going to crunch my left side. So I'm crunching my left obliques. Exhaling on the way up, getting a nice tight crunch of those obliques to get rid of those love handles and really tighten up the waistline. So then I switch over, and now I'm going to work my right oblique muscles. So I have my right knee pointing towards the left. And with my right elbow, I do a right oblique crunch to tighten up the right side, get rid of those love handles. Well, this one will get rid of the love handle on the right side, hopefully. And remember, with abs, diet is important as well, and so is cardio. In this video, I'm going to go over proper nutrition. I'll be covering the benefits of protein, the benefits of water, good carbohydrates versus bad carbohydrates versus okay carbohydrates, calorie intake versus calorie burn, and the dangers of losing too much weight too quickly. First, the benefits of protein. Protein is very efficiently and very effectively processed by the body as a fuel. In other words, a high protein diet promotes muscle gain and fat loss. The best protein sources are from lean meats like chicken, turkey, fish, and lean cuts of steak. Protein supplements like protein bars and protein shakes made of whey or soy are also good sources of protein. However, you should limit these as they are often high in carbs. If you read the label on some of those protein supplements, you will see that they have sugar alcohols, and if you look at the total carbs in the supplement, you'll see that the sugar alcohols increases the total carb amount, even though it doesn't increase the what they consider sugar amount. So it can be misleading, and you have to look at the overall carbs in some of those supplements, and you'll see that they're actually pretty high compared to some chicken, turkey, fish, or even lean cuts of steak. If you have a naturally high metabolism and you have trouble gaining weight, then focus on increasing your protein intake. That way, the weight that you do gain will be muscle instead of fat. The benefits of water. Adequate water intake is essential for muscle growth and helps prevent muscle cramping and injury. Drinking water with most of your meals will help you lose fat, keep fat off, and provide your muscles with much needed hydration. Drink water before stretching and throughout your workout. If water isn't your favorite drink, then try to make it your favorite drink, because it is the best drink in terms of helping you lose fat and gain muscle. Good carbs. Good carbs are carbohydrates that your body very efficiently and very effectively processes as a fuel. These carbohydrate sources are less likely to cause fat gain, plus they will provide adequate amounts of energy. Examples are brown rice, fruit, oatmeal, vegetables, and wheat bread. If you have a naturally high metabolism and have trouble gaining weight, then focus on increasing your good carb intake. That way, the weight that you do gain will be muscle instead of fat. Bad carbs. Bad carbs are anything that consists of high fructose corn syrup or have an overabundance of sugar. Some sugar is good and essential, but you should avoid foods that are high in sugar. Examples of foods that have bad carbs are typical items found in the candy aisle, some cereals that are high in sugar, some condiments, pastries, donuts, soft drinks like Coke and Pepsi, etc. Bad carb items are not always high in fat, but because they are high in sugar, your body will end up storing them as fat. So any sugar that your body does not burn, it ends up storing as fat. And if you're eating foods that are very high in sugar or drinking drinks that are very high in sugar, even if you exercise, your body may still not burn those extra grams of sugar. And then your body will store them as fat. Bad carb items should not be consumed on a daily basis and should be very limited in your diet. Save them for the cheat days. I'll talk about cheat days in a moment. Okay carbs. Okay carbs are not the best carbohydrate choices, but are okay to consume in moderation, but not for every meal. Examples would be cereals that have some sugar. Nothing's wrong with a cereal with some sugar, but what I mean is a cereal with too much sugar, maybe not like a super lot of sugar, but too much than we should be consuming. Pasta would be an example of an okay carb. It'll give you some energy, but if you're eating too much of it, it will end up being stored as fat. White bread, instead of white bread, eat the whole wheat bread. And instead of white rice, eat the brown rice. So you can have white bread, white rice, cereals that have a decent amount of sugar in them, and pasta. You can have them, but just don't have them for every meal. And try to limit your intake. Fat. Needless to say, you should generally avoid foods that are high in fat. You can eat them, but you must eat them in moderation. Save them for your cheat days. Calorie intake versus calorie burn. Fat burning and weight loss ultimately comes down to calorie intake versus calorie burn. Total calorie intake is the total amount of calories that you consume from food and drinks. Total calorie burn is the total amount of calories that you burn from normal body processes, normal daily activities, and especially exercise. Ultimately, if you want to burn fat and lose weight, you must burn more calories than you consume. So if you decide you're going to start exercising, but then you increase the amount of calories that you eat and drink, then you may not lose any fat or weight. It just depends on, are you exercising and burning more than you're eating and drinking? So ultimately, if you want to burn fat and lose weight, you must burn more calories than you consume. Important note, do not concern yourself with the calories burned reading on some cardio machines that you may see at the gym, or maybe you have one at home that shows you how many calories you burned. They can be misleading, and do not concern yourself with those. And if I were you, I would just ignore them. Focus on getting a really good workout in when you're doing your cardio, getting the heart rate going at a nice pace to burn calories and fat. The dangers of losing too much weight too quickly. You should avoid losing a lot of weight in a short amount of time. Losing too much weight too quickly can lead to 3 significant problems. 1, you can have a nutrient deficiency in your body, which is obviously very unhealthy. You can lose muscle, and you may end up relapsing back into bad eating habits. If you're trying to lose weight, then you should lose no more than 2 pounds per week. 1 pound per week is ideal, especially if you're trying to keep as much muscle as you can. And if you're gaining muscle and losing fat, you may not lose or gain any weight. And if you're gaining a lot of muscle, you may actually gain weight. So sometimes it's better to take out the measuring tape and measure your waist and go by how you look in the mirror rather than hopping on a scale. Because if you're gaining muscle, you could actually be gaining weight, because muscle
weighs more than fat. Cheat meals. Cheat meals are essential when following a diet plan. Cheat meals are basically meals that consist of whatever the heck you want. You can eat your favorite foods without worrying about calories, fat, carbs, sugar, or anything else. Just eat your favorite foods, eat what you want when you're having cheat meals. You must allow yourself at least 2 or 3 cheat meals per week. So maybe you want to have a cheat day, and during that cheat day, you allow yourself 2 or 3 cheat meals. Or maybe you want to have 2 cheat days, where you have 2 cheat meals one of the days, and then the next day you have 1 cheat meal. So you must allow yourself at least 2 or 3 cheat meals per week. So at least. So maybe you want to have 2 cheat days where you have 2 cheat meals each day. Then that's 4 cheat meals in 1 week. And that's okay, because you're not eating the cheat meals that often. Eating cheat meals has 2 important benefits. Number 1, they keep your body's metabolism going at a good pace because they help prevent your body's metabolism from getting used to your stricter diet. And number 2, they help you stay on your stricter diet because they give you a break from it. So you getting used to your stricter diet is different from your body's metabolism getting used to it. Because if your body's metabolism never has any cheat meals, it's going to adjust and actually burn less calories. It will actually slow down because it's not getting as much food as it used to. To avoid that, you want to kind of shock your body, so to speak, and give it excess calories, fat, carbs, and sugar. That way, that way your metabolism does not slow down. And as far as you getting used to your stricter diet, it'll be easier for you to get used to your stricter diet if you get a break from it from time to time. So you'll be able to stay on your diet better if you allow yourself some cheat meals. In this video, I'm going to explain what cardio is and the best cardio to do to burn fat and spare muscle, keep the muscle. So what is cardio? Cardio exercise is any rhythmic activity that raises your heart rate into your target heart rate zone. This is the zone where you burn the most fat and calories. Examples of cardio exercises include sprinting, like hill sprints, which is my favorite cardio to do when I'm burning fat and gaining or keeping muscle. Running or jogging, cycling, elliptical trainers, which is the same thing as an elliptical machine like you see at the gym. Rowing, swimming, and rowing can be on a machine or an actual boat. Rowing, swimming, jumping rope, jumping jacks, even walking. Obviously, walking is going to burn less fat and calories than sprinting or running, but it's still going to increase the heart rate, so technically it's a cardio activity. The best cardio exercise for burning fat while preserving muscle is sprinting, preferably hill sprinting. I talked about hill sprinting when in the video for the terms and concepts, so you should probably already have a good idea of what I'm talking about, but this will refresh your memory. Hill sprints are a form of high-intensity interval training. So they're a cardio exercise, and more specifically, they're high-intensity interval training. People call it HIIT training, even though it has 2 I's. Hill sprints are my go-to cardio exercise because they are great for burning fat yet preserving muscle. I sprint on the way up the hill and then walk on the way down. So it's high-intensity interval training. So the high intensity, the time when the heart rate gets beating very fast and I'm burning the most calories and fat, is when I'm sprinting on the way up. And then I walk on the way down. I normally sprint on a grassy hill that is an approximate that is at an approximate 30-degree incline. So the steepness is about 30 degrees, and it looks kind of like that. I choose a grassy hill because it is easier on the feet and joints than a concrete hill. But if you only have access to a concrete hill, then do them on those. The hill I use is approximately 50 yards long. It doesn't have to be that long. Even if it's 30 yards, as long as you're putting in the effort, you're going to get a good workout. I perform at least 10 sprints per workout, but often my workout will consist of 20 to 25 sprints. If you cannot find a hill to sprint up, then do flat sprints. Doing flat sprints would be your best alternative.
Let's take a quick look at my overall leg size. I've been able to get good size in my quadricep muscle, considering that I've never used steroids and this is in natural light. In this video, I'm going to go over the exercises that will help you get good overall size for your leg muscles. The first exercise is the squat. And when I'm showing you this exercise, I'm going to keep some notes on the screen because these notes are very important in order to get the most out of your squats and to prevent injury. This is in slow motion initially, and you'll notice that I have a barbell with weights on it behind my head, resting on top of my shoulders. Now, as you can read, the first note says, keep your head up and chin up. This is important because this will help keep you balanced and it will help prevent you from leaning forward. You do not want to lean forward too much. If your head and the weights go completely over your knee or even in front of your knee, there's a risk of you losing your balance and there's a risk of you putting too much stress on your knee. So you could get injured if you lean forward too much. And keeping your head up and your chin up will help prevent you from leaning forward. And keep the weight over your feet, not in front of your knees. If the weight goes in front of your knees, that could cause knee injury or you could lose your balance. Keep your back straight, very important. Keep your back straight. Do not bend or arch your back. If you need to use a weightlifting belt to help you with that, that's fine. I think I have one on. Now we're going to look at this in regular speed. And I'm bending at the hip. I'm not bending my back. I'm keeping my back straight. So keep your head up and chin up. Keep the weight over your feet, not in front of your knees. And keep your back straight. Bend at the hip. Do not bend your back. Do not arch your back. And I go down until the top of my legs above the knee is just about parallel with the floor. The next exercise, the leg press. This is on the leg press machine. Both the squat and leg press are both very good for overall leg size. They're going to work the quads, which is the front of the leg, above the knee and below the waist. Quad is just short for quadricep. They'll work the hamstring, the back of the leg, which is above the knee and below the glutes. And they will also work the glutes, which are the butt muscles. This is in slow motion, and I bring the weight back until my knees are close to my chest, and just go back as far as what's comfortable for you, as long as you have a decent range of motion and you feel it in your legs. And then I press the weight forward until my knees are almost straight, but I don't straighten my knees. I still keep them slightly bent, and here it is in regular speed. You'll notice that when I'm lowering the weight, I don't go super slow. with the squat or with the leg press, but I do lower the weight in a smooth, controlled manner. And let's finish out the set. Now I'm going to show you the stiff leg deadlift. But before I show you this exercise, it's very important to note that to prevent injury, do not lock your knees during stiff leg deadlifts. Keep them just slightly bent. So even though they're called stiff leg deadlifts, you still want to keep your knees just slightly bent. The stiff leg deadlift. This will specifically target the hamstrings and the glutes. Great exercise for the hamstrings and glutes to help develop their overall size, and you'll help develop and strengthen your lower back as well. Again, I added some important notes. Lower the weight in a controlled manner. Don't just drop it. And there's no need to bang it off the floor. If you do not bang it off the floor, then you'll be implementing the constant tension principle and you'll actually get more out of your workout, because if the weight hits the floor, then tension goes off the muscle and you're giving it a rest. So we're not powerlifting. We are trying to build lean, solid, good-looking muscle. So lower the weight in a controlled manner. Stop before reaching the floor because of the constant tension principle. And as always, keep your back straight. Do not bend or arch your back. I'm bending, but not my back. I'm bending at my hip. And you want to do that in order to prevent injury. Now, obviously, that was in slow motion. And now we're going to look at it in regular speed. Lower the weight in a controlled manner. Stop before reaching the floor because of the constant tension principle. So you really work the hamstring muscles, the glute muscles, and the lower back muscles. And you'll get the most out of your workout. Keep your back straight. Do not bend or arch your back. That way you'll prevent injuries. And I have a belt on. If you want to wear a belt, that will help you keep your lower back straight. It'll give you extra support. And let's finish out the set. Now for the calves. Let's take a quick look at the overall size for my calf muscles. Keep in mind this is in natural light and I've never used steroids, but I've been able to get good overall size for my calf muscles naturally. And I'm going to show you a really good exercise to help build your calf muscles. For the calf raises, I'm using a Smith machine because it helps me stay on balance, and I use a little step-up box that elevates my heel above the floor so I can get a nice deep range of motion. And this is in slow motion initially. Let's go ahead and take a look at this in regular motion. I'm just lowering the weight and letting my heels dip below that little step-up box that I'm on, and the balls of my feet are on the step-up box, and I just go to my tiptoes, and that flexes the calf muscles. In this video, I'll be showing you the exercises that I use to get definition and separation in my leg muscles. Definition and separation means that your leg muscles pop out through the skin. They'll have that ripped look. Here's a quick look at my quads. The quads are the quadriceps. The first exercise we'll be doing are lunges. It's important to keep in mind when you're doing lunges that you want to keep your head behind your front knee when lunging. And lunging means you're stepping forward and bending down. Here I am in slow motion. You'll notice that the bar with some weight is resting on the back of my shoulders. Again, this is in slow motion. So when I step forward, I make sure that my head never goes in front of my knee. And the reason that you want to make sure that your head never goes in front of your knee is because you want to keep good balance throughout the exercise, and you want to prevent putting too much stress on your knee, which could cause an injury. You'll also notice that my back leg bends slightly and my knee almost touches the ground, but not quite. And let's take a look at this in regular speed. I focus on one leg at a time. You can alternate legs if you want to, but I like to do one leg at a time because that will keep the focus on that one muscle group rather than giving that muscle group a rest while you work the other leg. So I'll do at least 10 reps on one side and then switch over to the other leg. And then I'll do at least 10 reps on the other leg. And this exercise is excellent at getting your legs ripped, getting those muscles to pop out with nice lean muscle definition and separation. So I'm going to finish out the set on my left leg. And remember that I keep my head behind my knee to avoid injury and to help keep me balanced. And the back leg will be slightly bent with the back knee almost touching the ground, but not quite. If you do this with high reps, you'll really get a nice sweat going, and it almost turns into a cardio workout because you'll be breathing heavy. It's an excellent exercise. The next exercise are quad extensions. So this exercise specifically focuses on the quadriceps. The quadriceps are the muscles that are above the knee and below the waist in the front of the leg. You'll notice that during the eccentric movement, the movement when I'm lowering the weight, I keep the movement nice and smooth. I don't come down too fast, and that's important. The next exercise focuses on the hamstrings. It's the hamstring curl, and the hamstring is the muscle group that is in the back of the leg, above the knee, and below the glutes. And the glutes are the butt muscles. Now, you'll notice that the bench that I'm laying on points up in the middle by my waist. Not all benches do that with this type of machine. And if you have a flat bench, that's fine. The flat bench will work the hamstrings just as well. And again, you'll see that during the eccentric movement, when I'm lowering the weight, that I come down nice and smooth. That's very important so you work the muscle properly and get the most out of your workout. Now we're going to talk about calf definition and separation. First, I'm going to show you a quick look at my calves when I'm flexing them. I'm simply going on my tiptoes, and that flexes the calf muscles. And you'll notice the grooves that define where the calf muscles are whenever I do flex them. And the good separation between the calf muscles and the rest of my leg. A good calf exercise is the calf press. You'll feel a nice burn in your calves when you do these right. And first I'm showing you this in slow motion. And this is on the leg press machine at the gym. So I'm sitting down and I have some weight on the leg press machine. But instead of doing a leg press, I'm doing a calf press. So I'm letting the weight on the leg press machine provide resistance for my calves. And this is the movement in slow motion. So I let the weight come back a little bit so my toes point back just slightly. And then I go on my tiptoes and press the weight. And I am sitting down while I'm doing this, and this is on the leg press machine. And let's take a look at this in regular speed. It's hard to see the calves flexing because we're looking at the other side of my leg, the front of my leg. But if you look close, you can see them flexing on the sides. And this is a really great exercise to bring out the separation in the calf muscles and have nice defined calf muscles. Let's finish out the set.
I want you to know that your opinion matters. As my student, your opinion is very important to me. If you like this course, then please take a moment to give it a positive rating and review. I will greatly appreciate this as it will motivate me to make more content and it will help more students find this course. Thank you.
In this video, I'm going to go over all of the stretching that I do for my total body. And it's very important to stretch whatever body part or muscle group you'll be using during an exercise in order to prevent injury and get a good blood flow into the muscles. I hold all of my stretches for at least 20 seconds, and I'll hold them for more if the muscle feels especially tight. The hamstring and lower back stretch. So the hamstring is the muscle in the back of the leg, above the knee, but below the glutes. With my knees very slightly bent, not completely straight, not locked, very slightly bent, I lean down and with my hands behind my ankles, I pull myself down a little bit further so my face is closer to my legs, and I get a nice stretch in my hamstrings and lower back muscles. The next stretch is a deeper hamstring stretch. The hamstring can be prone to injury, so you want to make sure that it is stretched thoroughly. So first I lean down to the right leg, and I use my hands to pull my face closer to my knee. And my knee is very slightly bent. It's not locked. So I'll hold that for about 20 seconds and then go down to the other leg and do the same thing. Hold that for about 20 seconds. Now I'm going to go down to the middle to make sure that my hamstrings are thoroughly stretched. And I hold that for about 20 seconds. Quad stretch. The quad is the muscle above the knee in the front of the leg, extending from the knee up to the hip in the front of the leg. In order to help with my balance, I have one hand on the wall and the other hand is pulling my foot close to my glutes. It's important to note that I do take deep breaths while I'm stretching. And taking deep breaths is important for two main reasons. Number one, you're going to ensure that you get plenty of oxygen to your muscles, which is important. And number two, it will help relax you. And if you feel relaxed in your mind, then you'll feel relaxed in your muscles. So I take deep breaths throughout all of my stretches. And I feel that that's important. It helps me loosen up and stay focused. The groin stretch. The groin is the muscle on the inside of the leg, above the knee. So when I spread my feet and lean down to the right, that's going to stretch my left groin muscle. And again, I'm holding all of my stretches for at least 20 seconds. I hold them for more if the muscle feels like it needs more, if it feels especially tight. So leaning down to the left will stretch my right groin muscle. The glute stretch. The glutes are the butt muscles. So I'm sitting down on my couch, cross my left leg on top of my right knee, right quad area. And what I'm doing initially here is I'm using my left forearm to gently push down on my leg. And that will stretch the outer groin, the outer glute and hip area on the left side. I'm sorry that some of the video quality is not as clear as it should be. I put this in slow motion because I'm transitioning to a different type of glute stretch. This will get deeper into the glute and stretch the most of the glute. So I put my hand underneath my knee shin area of my left leg, and now I'm pulling my knee towards my chest. And that gets a really nice deep glute stretch and stretches almost the entire glute of my left side. Now I'm going to stretch my right glute. So with my right leg crossed above my left knee quad area, I'm using my right forearm to gently push down on that right leg to stretch the outer glute hip area of my right side. As you can see, I'm taking deep breaths. And in slow motion, I'm going to show you the transition again on this side. So I'm taking my hand and I'm putting it underneath my right knee. And instead of pushing down, I'll be pulling up. So I'm pulling my knee up gently towards my chest, leaning forward a little bit to get a nice deep stretch for my right glute. And I'm taking deep breaths, holding for 20 seconds. The shoulder stretch. So I'm stretching the middle and the rear delt of my right shoulder. I'm using my left fist to pull or press my right bicep up against my chest, and that stretches the shoulder. So now I switch over for the left shoulder. This will stretch the left middle delt and left rear delt. So I'm pressing my bicep up against my chest and stretching that left shoulder. Tricep stretch. So what I'm doing here is I'm stretching my right tricep. So I have my left hand wrapped around my right wrist, and I'm using my left hand to press my right wrist down towards my right shoulder and right upper back area. And that will help stretch the right tricep. And for the left tricep, we just switch grips. So I'm going to take my right hand, grab my left wrist, and press my left wrist down towards my left shoulder, upper back area, and that will stretch my left tricep. And let's hold it for about 20 seconds, taking deep breaths. Calf stretch, very important to do if you're going to be lifting for your calves, or if you're going to be doing cardio involving your legs like jogging, running, even walking. So I'm pressing my hands up against a door that's shut, and I'm pushing against that door, and I have my left heel planted behind me, and that was stretching my left calf. Now I'm transitioning to stretch my right calf. So now I'm stretching my right calf, pushing against the door, my right heel and foot planted behind me, my left leg slightly bent. So that's stretching my right calf. Chest stretch. This also includes stretching the front delt, the front of the shoulder. So the pecs and the front delt, the chest and the front of the shoulder. So I have my right hand up against the wall beside my right shoulder, and you can't see my legs, but what I'm doing is my left leg is out in front of me, and my right leg is underneath me, and I'm leaning forward, getting a nice stretch in that right chest muscle and that right front delt. And then for the left side, I just do the same thing. So I keep the hand up against the wall next to my shoulder, and this time I'm taking my left leg, putting it forward, and my right leg is underneath me, and I'm leaning forward with the wall as support. This is stretching my left chest muscle and my left front delt. Back stretch. There are a lot of muscles in the back, probably about 10, and this will stretch most of them, especially the lats, which comprise a good majority of your back. So I'm holding on to the wall with my left hand, and I'm pushing against the wall with my right hand, and I'm stretching my left side of my back. The muscles on my left side of my back. Now I'm switching over, so I'm holding on to the wall with my right hand, pushing against it with my left hand, and I'm stretching the muscles on the right side of my back. And if you don't have a wall like that, you can do this on a piece of equipment at the gym or in a doorway. Bicep stretch. So I have my right hand holding onto the wall, and I'm leaning forward in front of the wall and really getting a nice deep stretch for my right bicep. You just want to do this gently. You'll feel it. You don't want to stretch too far or lean too far forward, just to where you'll feel it. Now I'm doing it for my left bicep, so my left hand is behind the wall, and I'm leaning forward gently and stretching that left bicep, holding it for about 20 seconds and taking some deep breaths. Abdominal stretch, stretching the stomach muscles. I'm simply laying down on a mat and I'm trying to extend my body from hand to toe as much as I can. It's a pretty simple stretch. If there's a pull-up bar where you are, you can hang from the pull-up bar and get a nice abdominal stretch as well. Oblique stretch. The oblique is the side of your stomach. This will also stretch the right lat and left lat when I do it the other way. But right now I'm stretching the right oblique and the right lat. I held it for 10 seconds and then I transition over to stretch the left oblique and the left lat. Hold that for 10 seconds, then I go back for 10 seconds. And then back to the other side for 10 seconds. So it's a total of 20 seconds on each side. Taking deep breaths and getting a nice stretch. When performing resistance exercises, you want to use different set and rep variations. First, I'm going to list out some different set and rep variations, and then I will go into more detail for each of them. I'm going to talk about the importance of set and rep variations, what lightweight sets are, medium weight sets, heavyweight sets, pyramid sets, reverse pyramid sets, burnout sets, and circuit training. The importance of set and rep variations. Changing your set and rep routine is necessary in order to continue stimulating muscle growth. Over time, your muscle growth will hit a plateau. Your muscle tissue will stop growing if you keep doing the same set and rep routine. You should switch your routine every 8 weeks or so in order to keep the muscles guessing and thus continue to stimulate growth. Lightweight sets. If you're lifting weights that you can easily do 10 reps of, then the weight is considered light for you. If you're lifting light weight, then you should be doing 4 to 6 sets of 10 to 20 reps. This type of lifting will likely burn the most calories and is good for muscle toning. Medium weight sets. If you're lifting weights that you can't do more than 12 to 15 reps of, then the weight is considered medium for you. If you're lifting medium weight, then you should be doing 3 to 5 sets of 8 to 15 reps. This will burn a good amount of calories while still promoting muscle growth and muscle shaping. Heavy weight sets. If you're lifting weights that you can't do more than 8 reps of, then the weight is considered heavy for you. If you're lifting heavy weight, then you should be doing 2 to 4 sets of 2 to 8 reps. This will burn the least amount of calories but build the most amount of muscle. For safety reasons, certain exercises will require a spotter. A spotter is someone to help you when performing heavy sets. This is because you may go to failure and may need help on your last rep. Pyramid sets. It is important and very common to mix the weight levels within the same workout. This is often referred to as pyramid sets. Here is an example of pyramid sets. After warm-up set 1 is lightweight for 15 reps, set 2 is medium weight for 12 reps, set 3 is an increased medium weight of 10 reps, and set 4 is heavy weight for 8 reps. So that's an example of performing pyramid sets. Reverse pyramid sets. Doing reverse pyramid sets is a great way to change up your lifting routine and stimulate growth. If you hit a plateau where you aren't gaining any muscle or strength, then try doing reverse pyramid sets to get past the plateau. Here is an example of reverse pyramid sets. After a warm-up set, set 1 is a heavy weight set for 4 reps. Set 2 uses medium weight for 8 reps. Set 3 uses a decreased medium weight for 10 reps. And then set 4 is lightweight for 15 reps. Burnout sets. Burnout sets are a great way to shock the muscle and stimulate growth. Burnout sets are performed as the last set of an exercise and only one burnout set is performed. Doing it after 3 heavy sets is optimal. Burnout sets are always performed with light weight for at least 15 reps. When performing a burnout set, you do repetitions until failure. For safety reasons, certain exercises will require a spotter, someone to help you, when performing a burnout set. This is because you are going to failure and may need help on your last rep. Circuit training. Circuit training involves performing multiple exercises within one set. Here's an example of circuit training for legs. Set 1 would be a squat for 10 reps, then a 10-second rest. And keep in mind, this would be after your warm-up set. You would do set 1, a squat, 10 reps, and then 10 seconds rest. Okay? Then you're going to do leg curl, still considered part of set 1, but it's a different exercise. 10 reps, and then just a 10-second rest. Leg extension, still set 1, but a different exercise. 10 reps, and then a 10-second rest. You notice we're doing a very quick rest. Okay, so that completes the first set. And then after this first set, you would rest for 2 to 4 minutes and then repeat everything for 2 more sets. So circuit training involves performing multiple exercises within the same set, and then you end up doing multiple sets. Circuit training is a great way to burn extra calories and tone muscle.
I want you to know that your opinion matters. As my student, your opinion is very important to me. If you like this course, then please take a moment to give it a positive rating and review. I will greatly appreciate this as it will motivate me to make more content and it will help more students find this course. Thank you.
Congratulations, you completed the course. Now you have the knowledge and skills necessary to get the body that you always wanted, and quite frankly, the body that you deserve. A lean, muscular body, strong body, a body that's going to turn heads and impress people, and most importantly, impress yourself. Now, I want to make myself available to all of you, so feel free to ask questions on udemy.com, and I will answer them as soon as I can. I'm here to help you reach your goals, and I know that you can do it, so believe in yourself and get the job done. Thanks again for taking the course.